Do you see what I see? It looks like we have ourselves some breaking news. Finally! It's been months since we have seen a trade update to this magnitude. Frank Seravalli went out there and posted this about an hour ago. Sources are saying the New York Rangers and the Anaheim Ducks are in advanced discussions on a deal that would send Chris Kreider to Disney. No semantics, there is no deal at this moment in time, but there is interest and a framework. Both teams had other irons in the fire today. We will see on Wednesday. So, a late-night bomb posted there by Frank Seravalli that the Anaheim Ducks are closing in on a deal to get Chris Kreider. Talk about grabbing all the New York scraps from Trouba to Kreider and then just sending them over to Anaheim, a team that is looking to make a big step. They had just hired Joel Quenneville, which, is definitely going to paint their organization in an interesting way. And now they're trying to put together the pieces to build a contender today. They're going to shell out a ton of money to Marner. They're going to grab Chris Kreider. They still got Trouba. Frank Seravalli dropping this bomb. Let's go out there and read some of the extra updates here. Because just about 10 minutes ago-ish, Seravalli posted more details on the Kreider to Anaheim discussions, the prospect involved, and how there are a few hurdles left to clear on Wednesday, which will be tomorrow. Let's go out there and read this article. It'll be linked in the description for all of your own personal reading pleasure. But the New York Rangers are in advanced discussions with the Ducks on a trade that would send career-long blue shirt Chris Kreider to Orange County, multiple sources told Daily Faceoff. The talks, which sources stressed had not reached the finish line, were slated to continue on Wednesday, but there was mutual interest between the parties and the framework of a deal in place. The most recent discussion centered on Ducks prospect Carey Terrence, an upstate New York native and 2023 second-round pick, heading to the Rangers in a swap that would see the Ducks take on Kreider's contract in full. Kreider, 34, has 2 years left on his contract at $6.5 million a year, and he was ranked number 2 on Daily Faceoff's most recent trade targets board. Meanwhile, the prospect, Carey Terrence, 20, saw his offensive output slow over the last 2 seasons in the OHL's Erie Otters since being drafted 59th overall. The two-way center finished this season with 39 points in 45 games in the OHL, but scored twice in 7 games at the World Juniors, where he helped Team USA to a second consecutive gold medal. While the proposed return might not look like much on paper for Rangers fans, Kreider would mark the 3rd difficult contract in a row, joining Trouba and Goodrow, that GM Chris Drury would have wiggled out from without having to retain dead space. Over 14 seasons in the Big Apple, Kreider has proven himself to be an all-time Ranger, yada yada yada. He had all these talents, and he's a truly gifted goal scorer. It was not immediately clear on Tuesday whether Anaheim was on Kreider's 15-team no-trade list, but sources believe it would not be a stumbling block either way, as Kreider was thought to have interest in playing for new Ducks coach Joel Quenneville, where he would also be reunited with Ryan Strome and former Rangers captain Jacob Trouba. Kreider and Trouba were both subjects of the memo that Drury sent league-wide in November, soliciting interest in the veterans. Many believe that memo, which was sent when the Rangers had a 12-7-0 record, contributed to a season that went off the rails and saw the defending President's Trophy winners miss the playoffs. New York went 27-29-7 to close the year. Peter Laviolette was fired after 2 seasons on Broadway, Trouba was traded to Anaheim in early December, and now Kreider may be joining him in short order. That was another one of my questions that I wanted to propose in this entire conversation. What is Kreider's own personal feeling about the thing? He's got a 15-team no-trade list, but these sources are saying that it's probably not going to be an obstacle to send Kreider over to Anaheim, whether he already has Anaheim not on his no-trade list, or he could take them off if he sees, oh yeah, Joel Quenneville's there. For some reason, he'd be interested in playing under him, and then be reunited with Strome and Trouba. This is what we were talking about, man. All of the New York Rangers scraps end up just going over to Anaheim in some capacity. And if it's a 1-for-1 trade, let's say Chris Kreider for Carey Terrence, that's it. A sub-point-per-game center in the OHL who was drafted 2 years ago, then obviously Rangers fans are not going to look at this deal kindly and say, oh yeah, we got great value for Kreider. No, that's probably not the case here. I mean, look at Carey Terrence and his overall profile. Yeah, he was a World Junior champion, 20 years old, 6'1", but the point production did take a dip this previous year as the captain of Erie. Sure, Anaheim Ducks prospect be damned, he could be heading over to his hometown New York Rangers squad, but Chris Kreider still had a 20-goal year this previous season. Sure, he is 2 years removed from being a 75-point guy and 39-point player. He also had that illustrious 50-goal season back in 21-22, but Kreider's downfall came quickly, and it came in a stint where he absolutely would not pass the puck. He would find ways to score, but he had only 8 assists alongside of his 22 goals. Still an effective NHL player, but definitely not somebody that, if you're looking at the trade value, oh yeah, this Carey Terrence prospect is worth it 1-for-1. You would really have to be analyzing Kreider from a negative point of view. When you look at his contract, $6.5 million a year till the end of 2027, till he's going to be 36 years old. I mean, that is a reasonably high contract, and I think a lot of Rangers fans have already started bringing that idea forward in their minds that, hey, Chris Kreider may not be a lifetime New York Ranger just because of the circumstances with the contract and because of the direction that this team wants to go down. We'd already spoken about it earlier this morning in the first video of today's show, but the Rangers reportedly have everybody not named Igor, Adam Fox, or Panarin on their trade block. Everybody is up for grabs, and that, by proxy, includes Chris Kreider. It also includes names like K'Andre Miller, Alexis Lafreniere, and even JT Miller, but we can get into another conversation about JT at some point in the future. Kreider, though, definitely does have still some NHL pedigree. It's just a question as to whether or not that's going to bring itself out in an organization like Anaheim. You think about Pat Verbeek, you think about the types of players that this Anaheim Ducks squad is building around, and Chris Kreider fits in that mold. The McTavishes, the Lundstroms, the Leo Carlsons, these bigger, tougher guys, Cutter Gauthier, Jacob Trouba, Chris Kreider, not necessarily the most flashy or brilliant name, but he is a big guy, 6'3", 229. He is a power forward net front presence that can get that offense to go in that way. And so to see the Anaheim Ducks be interested in Kreider to the point that they're willing to take on his full $6.5 million AAV salary, presumably just for a prospect here in Carey Terrence, I mean, it helps out their team, right? So with all this in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this huge trade update? Chris Kreider will be heading over to Anaheim, it looks like, sometime within the next 24 hours. There is no deal at this moment in time, but it is getting close. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.